In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you 6 different client websites. I'm going to show you how I found the clients, how much I charged for their website, and how much additional revenue I made as a result of the project. So let's get into it. This first site was built back in 2018 for a company called Piano Tech. Now, I built this website in Wix because I had yet to find Webflow. This site was made up of 5 unique pages, and this client I actually found through a Facebook post announcing that I was building websites for companies. Now, this project was extremely stressful because it was one of my first real clients. I didn't have a lot of experience, so I didn't charge nearly enough. Now, you'll notice that this site is pretty vanilla, but the client was pleased with it, and overall, I'm really grateful for this project and the lessons that it taught me. So my total earnings on this website were $1,200. And once the website was built, I also offered a Google review funnel to this client for an additional $700 in total. This next project was about a year later for a company called Spud Equipment. The URL is spudequip.com, and this was one of my very first websites built in Webflow. It was made up of 5 unique pages, but they had a pretty heavy CMS that we had to set up to help them manage all of their inventory. Now, this client came through a friend referral, which most of my clients did early on in my career, but this project still remains one of my favorites. This was my first opportunity to build something bigger than a typical brochure site. When they reached out to me, they were searching for an easier way to manage all of their inventory because their previous dev would take weeks to make even small updates, and it was just really frustrating for them. And so by building this CMS system, it solved a huge pain point for them, and for that reason, they were willing to pay more. Now, today, I probably wouldn't take on a project of this size for anything less than about $10,000, but because I was still so new to web design, I only charged $3,100 for the site. So this was an absolute bargain for the client, but I really enjoyed working with them. And this relationship ended up working in my favor as they later referred 2 new website projects to me that totaled an additional $12,000. This next website is prodigypest.com. Now, this was back in 2019 as well. I built this site in Webflow, and since that time, they've made quite a few changes to the website that I designed. But right here, I'm showing you what it originally looked like. Now, this was made up of 10 unique pages, so it was a pretty big project. But I really enjoyed working with this client because he was a young entrepreneur and we really understood each other, and he really trusted me to take on this project and build him a great website. Now, how this client came to me is still somewhat of a mystery. He said that he was in a Facebook group and was referred to me by somebody else in the group. So as I worked through this project, I felt right at home because I actually sold pest control door to door when I was in college. So I felt like I really knew the industry and what would work and what wouldn't work on a website. So this gave me a lot of confidence when working with the client, and I think this instilled a lot more trust and confidence in my abilities. Now, this website had a smaller price tag. I sold this for $1,999. And the reason that I did this was the client also agreed to sign a 12-month contract. So over the following 12 months, I also made $8,590 with SEO. Hey, if you like this type of video, I've got about 100 other client websites that I could share with you. So if you're interested, just comment more down below. The next project is trustedpracticetransitions.com. This was back in 2018 as well, so quite a while ago. This was also one of the first sites that I built in Webflow. It was 5 unique pages, and this client actually came from a referral, so it was a really easy sales process, and they were really excited to work with me. Now, this project will always hold a place in my heart because it was by far my most expensive website build to date. And the funny thing is, I didn't do anything differently than I did with the other projects, other than just believing in my abilities and believing that I was worth more. And honestly, I was completely shocked when the client accepted the proposal without any hesitation. So the total price for this website was $3,100. And since that time, I've done some additional work for this client for about $1,300. And then he also referred me another project, which was worth $3,499. Next is 417 Pest Solutions. This site was also built back in 2019. I built it in Webflow and it had 8 unique pages. Now, this client was actually a friend from college, so it was a pretty easy sale and a really easy client to work with at the start of my career. Now overall, it was a pretty easy website build, and my friend gave me a lot of liberties, and I got to make most of the decisions with this site, which was really fun. But looking at this now, I'm not quite as stoked on the style, but back then I remember being super proud of this site. Now, it was around this time that I started to realize that if I sold a website for cheaper, it was easier to get those clients to invest that money into SEO services. And so just like I did with the other pest control website, I sold this website for just $1,000. And then over the following 2 years, I made an additional $15,650 from SEO. So this was definitely a profitable project for me. The final website is alpineinsagency.com. Now this site was built in 2020. It was built in Webflow and had 7 unique pages. This client came from local SEO, so it's a local company here in my town that found me on Google. And this site proved to be a pretty tricky one. I had to sell multiple decision makers on my work, and it took weeks to finally close this deal. This was another one of my biggest projects to date, so the feeling that I got when I finally closed it was unlike any other. And looking back on this site, I'm still really proud of it, and they haven't changed a thing, which makes me think that they like it too. The total price for this website was $5,600, and I also offered SEO to this client for 2 years after, which equaled about $12,400. So adding up all the revenue from all 6 of these projects, it comes up to $67,038. Now in this video, I shared a lot of older projects, but I'm really excited to start sharing some of my newer projects with you. These are the projects that sell for $10,000, $30,000, even $75,000. Also, if you feel like you need help growing your design business or finding good clients like these, you should come join my private group. Just go to paypro.com to learn more. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.